I would request everyone outside to get into the hall, come inside, because we are about to start with the event in another 5 minutes.
Job creations, one thing we can't rule out, that of transformation. India today has emerged as a stronger nation with a robust economy and a leading face to challenge the global powerhouse.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to the 9th Annual India Leadership Conclave and Indian Affairs Business Leadership Awards 2018, brought to you by Network 7 Media Group. This is the 9th successful and uninterrupted edition of India Leadership Conclave. My name is Rachna and I am the host for this wonderful event tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, India has delicately become a destination for experimenting innovations, laboratories where we are marching ahead in the 21st century with great speed and perfections. Sometimes, in the quest of our pursuit to explore innovations, we must not forget what the future will hold for us if we can't read the writings on the walls. We can't merely be a silent spectator to ruin our treasured and hard-earned innovations. India today is a force to reckon with in the global leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, over the next 4 hours, we will be having debates and panel discussions of tremendous significance to be deliberated by our esteemed speakers. Before we start our maiden welcome address, we present to you the theme of India Leadership Conclave 2018. Can we have the AV, please?
देश को भ्रष्टाचार और काले धन रूपी दिमक से मुक्त कराने के लिए एक और सख्त कदम उठाना जरूरी हो गया है। आज मध्यरात्रि यानी 8 नवंबर 2016 की रात्रि को 12 बजे से वर्तमान में जारी 500 रुपए और 1000 रुपए के करेंसी नोट लीगल टेंडर नहीं रहेंगे। ये मुद्राएं कानूनन अमान्य होगी। मध्यरात्रि के समय हम सब मिलकर के देश का आगे का मार्ग सुनिश्चित करने जा रहे हैं। जीएसटी की ये प्रक्रिया हम सब ने निर्धारित की है। जो रास्ता हमने चुना है, जिस व्यवस्था को हमने विकसित किया है, यह किसी एक दल की सिद्धि नहीं है। यह किसी एक सरकार की सिद्धि नहीं है। ये हम सबकी साझी विरासत है।
The United States has great strength and patience. But if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime. The United States is ready, willing, and able, but hopefully this will not be necessary. That's what the United Nations is all about. That's what the United Nations is for. Let's see how they do.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, while outlining the vision of India, said, "In India, democracy, demography, and dynamism together are shaping the country's destiny and leading it towards the path of development." Our mantra is reform, perform, and transform. A big hello and welcome to the historic 9th Annual India Leadership Conclave 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, while the brand India has been hugely successful abroad, back home, we are facing complex social, cultural, and economic challenges. Today, we are in a very complex economic environment globally. India needs to get to a stronger growth rate of 10%. There are 12 million people joining India's workforce every year, and the country needs to produce enough jobs for them. And to get there, the country needs significant reforms in its land acquisition processes. If private enterprise is the primary engine of economic growth, India stands out as a rare country that is hostile to business, as seen by our low ranking in the global ease of doing business rankings. This systemic hostility ends up hurting our best performing businesses or even industries over a period of time. India Leadership Conclave believes that it's hard to disagree with the fact that India is not growing fast enough, despite having the world's largest young and productive population and a culture that innately values entrepreneurship. It's equally hard to digest how little this importance is given to the issue in our public discourse, given how closely it affects all of us. It impacts the rich and poor, people with jobs and those without. Ladies and gentlemen, Network 7 Media Group is an independent media house that connects its relationship to its audience, and our message is strong and clear. If we want to ensure a viable, beautiful future for our children and their children on a safe and stable planet, we need to act now. And we need to act first and foremost within the realm of information. Because right now, it is the absolute dysfunction of the global information architecture represented in the intersection of mainstream media outlets, social technology platforms, and giant digital aggregators that is sowing confusion and paralyzing us from taking the action required to take on global and local challenges. Network 7 Media Group chase and break the stories that no one wants to cover and shine a light on the cracks between the headlines. And yes, We do not blindly follow the treadmill of the news cycle. We are transforming the news cycle. We understand that we are dealing with complex issues, but not shying away from pointing fingers at those in power. Remain disconnected with reality and truth. We aim to put people at the heart of our operations through our fearless and unbiased reporting. Our journalism is holistic in its scope, fearless in its integrity, rigorous in its research, and driven by the values of compassion, truth, and justice. Ladies and gentlemen, India Leadership Conclave believes that we really need growth for the jobs that our young people need. If we are really to create those jobs, we need massive investments and investment in job-creating activities like infrastructure, construction, and in big projects that could create jobs. During the last 4 years, the 1% rich doing nefarious activities escaped and were able to corner 73% of the nation's wealth. Before BJP got into power, it was only 49% of the resources. So, Indian affairs believe that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has to correct his policies and strategies to ensure that the poor and middle class, who constitute 90% of the lower strata, get the real benefits of economic reforms. Network 7 Media Group is of the opinion that the voice of the people is seldom heard in the corridors of unbridled power of a despotic demagogue. India is practicing crony capitalism, where 73% of wealth is with 1% of population. Despite Namo's disruptive demo, which proved a death knell for informal sector, killing millions of jobs in unorganized sector, 17 lakhs in formal sector alone as per CMIE survey, which employs majority of unskilled labor, contributing to 45% of GDP. Religious intolerance is increasing. Rabid nationalism is spreading its wings to defeat liberal, inclusive, pluralized polity of secular India. We are proud to be called as Hindustan, but let's not politicize it. India Leadership Conclave believes that a system with opaque or badly drafted rules combined with arbitrary or discretionary enforcement inherently favors the rule of will. It only serves those in power, politicians and bureaucrats, and hurts everyone else, you and I included. From the poorest people in its remotest corners of country to middle-class citizens and even big and well-heeled industrialists living in our largest cities, nobody is spared from currying favors with and seeking benevolence from the state. This hostile business environment makes it difficult for companies to grow and create new jobs. People's income do not grow as fast as they should. The market size remains stagnant and companies aiming to grow in India remain stuck inside this vicious cycle. Ladies and gentlemen, Indian affairs have observed that Indian startups quickly discover that they are unable to compete with foreign players who grow quickly in more benign states. Indian industrialists get stuck with debts that cannot be repaid and turn into non-performing assets (NPAs), and a majority of foreign firms find that despite all the hype over India's growing middle class, the country ends up contributing low single digits in percentage terms to global revenues. While India has admirably pulled a lot of people from poverty, it has lagged behind other countries in growing their incomes. The well-off are 10 times richer in 2018 than in 1980. Those at the median have not even doubled their income. The Indian middle class exists only in analyst projections and PowerPoint slides. Codifying clear and unambiguous rules and ensuring their proper enforcement is absolutely critical if we are to let the Indian economy grow to its full potential. This is a fundamental flaw we need to fix. Otherwise, we run the risk of languishing as a third world country for decades to come, unable to provide jobs to our young and feed our poor. With this above background, Network 7 Media Group is hosting the high-profile 9th Annual India Leadership Conclave and Indian Affairs Business Leadership Awards in Mumbai, and the theme of this year's annual edition is Introspection Agenda 2018.
Now, to begin with the welcome address, I would like to call upon stage India's most respected and distinguished journalist and chairman and editor-in-chief of Network 7 Media Group, known for campaigning the cause of citizens' rights and free speech, Mr. Satya Brahma. Mr. Brahma has been at the forefront of United Nations peace programs. He is also the author of Vision India, Truth versus Hype. Before he comes on the stage, I would like to request the AV of Mr. Satya's perspective on the present state of affairs in the country. Can we have the AV, please?
इन्होंने पिछले 6 महीने से हर एक क्षेत्र में उसमें कौन टॉप है और टॉप में वहां पर कौन टैप टॉन है जो ये बताएंगे कि कौन टॉप है। इनसे इंक्वायरी करके पूछकर बातचीत करके आज यहां पर उनको सम्मानित करने का तय किया और ये पिछले 2 महीने से तो दूसरा कुछ काम ही नहीं किया। आज इंडिया बीबीसी डिपेंड्स ऑन हिम, उनकी टीम पर निर्भर है। जो व्यक्ति और जिस व्यक्ति पर बीबीसी इंडिपेंडेंट हो, उनका काम उनको दूसरे लोगों को साथ में ले जाने की शक्ति मैं आप सबके फिर से सत्य ब्रह्मा जी का, वैसे सत्य है और ब्रह्मा भी है तो पाठक जी ब्रह्मा तो सत्य ही है। ये सिर्फ अभिनंदन नहीं है, ये आपने उन सब लोगों की पीठ थपथपाई है। क्या गो है, आप आगे बढ़ो, जिस क्षेत्र में काम कर रहे हो आगे बढ़ो, हम तुम्हारे साथ है, समाज तुम्हारे साथ है, हिंदुस्तान तुम्हारे साथ है। कौन रिकॉग्नाइज करता है? वी आर रिकॉग्नाइज, इंडिया कॉन्क्लेव इज रिकॉग्नाइज, सत्य ब्रह्मा इज तो रिकॉग्नाइज।
When power insists, you're either with us or against us. The space for a diversity of voices and ideas shrinks. When hate and anger are weaponized, it creates a spiral of silence. Satya Brahma, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief of Network 7 Media Group, feels that India as a nation has emerged as a strong and dominant player in the global map, despite critics labeling India as a failed nation, is not true and logical. We will continue to be a great democracy, economic superpower, despite odds and challenges. Yet, there are red lines as well. Independent India is 71 years old and may be the fastest growing economy in the world. Yet poverty, inequalities, digital divides continue to be the evil of the Indian economy. This combined paradox of economic success and deprivation for many makes the study of Indian political economy complex, interesting and consequential. I believe that when critical questions are simplistically equated with an anti-government agenda, it requires courage to hold decision makers accountable. We don't want to just give you the news. We aim to promote critical thinking, self-reflection, and empathy to encourage informed decision making. We are at a crucial moment for both independent media and fearless reporting. We are committed and will continue to bring you the honest, independent truth on all the important social, political, cultural, economic and liberty topics that really matter. We are fearless. We are independent. We cannot be silenced or intimidated. We believe in absolute food freedom, individual liberty and highest standards of journalistic practice.
Can we please welcome Mr. Satya Brahma on stage with a big round of applause.
Thank you, Rachana, for those kind words. India Leadership Conclave is such a platform which always brings a lot of innovations, creativity, and a tremendous amount of vigor which we propel the industry to come through. A very warm welcome and welcome to the 9th Annual India Leadership Conclave 2018. It's been brought to you by Network 7 Media Group, a part of BBC Worldwide. The theme of this conclave today is about introspection. Many of you would have joined the last edition of India Leadership Conclave. You would have seen I had made a theme called transformation. But when I made that theme of transformation, I had a different state of mind. I was thinking that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi was doing something very dramatic, something which is going to change the lives of the people. I am not here to pinpoint. I don't take any sides, actually. I don't speak for Congress. I don't speak for BJP. I don't speak for Communist Party. I don't speak for AAP. I don't speak for anyone. I am talking about what exactly is happening in the country. 2014 elections actually brought a tremendous cheers with the millions of Indians, actually. A country with 1 billion+ populations having tremendous respect for the Prime Minister coming to the power. In the initial period of 2 years, we saw massive reformations, massive MOUs being signed. The fiscal policies and the various financial measures were taken with utmost respect and were also implemented, actually. But I'm sorry to state to you that some of the ministers, I could tell you that even 60% of the ministers with the present dispensations of the Narendra Modi government have failed to deliver. The reason is because they are busy scoring the political gains. Everybody thinks, in the studios, when I also go there, we ask the same questions, and we tell them that you're a party with a difference. What is the difference that you brought? You can't propagate your moral virtues because you are in the government. You can't defend something which is indefensible. You don't lecture us that you are not an opportunistic politics. Why did you do this alliance with Jammu and Kashmir? Why did you betray? If you didn't want your ideology to match, then why did you ditch, actually, I will use that word, to Mufti's daughter there? I don't say who is wrong, But presently, the bone of contention, Jammu and Kashmir, is actually hitting headlines every day, actually. We are seeing on the television debates every day, the Jammu and Kashmir debate, that it is a total turmoil, and nothing is happening on the ground. If you remember, the demonetizations happened, and that actually set the tone for the new India's economic reforms. I would also go to that extent of telling you that the first economic reforms, which was carried by Dr. Manmohan Singh in the year 1991, where the liberalizations happened and globalization of the economy opened up, and the protectionism of the India which was practicing, it has gone out. India became open to the entire world. It became a big world, actually. So everybody came, and actually a lot of trade and commerce, everything increased. I don't find reason why the demonetization was required. The 500 rupees notes and the 1,000 rupees notes, you think if you can make it not available and you can scrap it, do you think the black money is going to be stopped? It cannot be stopped, actually. Even Reserve Bank of India presently states that it is more than the numbers, that is the black money, it has actually entered into the hands of those people who are actually controlling. So ultimately, actually, the people who are suffering are actually me, you, and everybody. We are paying tax for the government, actually. This is not expected, actually. What has happened, actually? Look at the statement of Raghuram Rajan, actually. How unceremoniously he was removed, actually. In an interview and a conversation with me, he told me that, Satya, look, I don't think demonetization policies have worked for India because it's not meant to be. Because I was at that time at the helm of the affairs, and in fact, I advised the team, although I was not aware of fully how it happened. I will also tell you that how it happened, actually. Many of you are not aware, actually, how the demonetization happened, actually. It was a day in which Prime Minister came to the nation, and he addressed the nation. 34 of the ministers were locked inside the room, in the conference rooms. And they were told that, because after that, Prime Minister was to go abroad in next 2 days' time. And he told there is going to be a lot of partnership I'm going to discuss. Everybody's phones were taken off. Then he went on the air, and he told this as 500 rupees and 1,000 rupees are no more valid. It doesn't have any legal entity. I was told by some of the sources that 8 to 9 ministers, actually, they were about to commit suicide, actually. But at the same time, there are certain ministers, I don't want to name, and some of the party president actually got benefited out of it. The point that I wanted to make is that it has not worked. GST is a game changer. GST has actually brought the economy to the mainstream, actually, in India. But the implementation which has happened is not actually conducive for the environment which actually the SMEs are involved. The small-scale manufacturers, if you talk to them, they still don't understand what GST is all about. It is true that indirect tax reforms that happened, the GST is actually a game changer. But in what way actually they are going to file it? Everything is in a confusion. So I'm in a position to tell you, demonetization is a disaster. GST is a game changer, and GST is something which India actually wanted a long time back. Chidambaram couldn't do it because he didn't have numbers. Now, with a majority of around 284, now actually, of course, it has reduced now to 272, with TDP backing out, with Shiv Sena backing out, with some of the parties not there. So now the number has reduced, but still they enjoy the majority. I think something substantial could have been worked out, and I think that could have actually set the tone for the new India. I'm really surprised. Every day you're seeing on the TV, you're seeing that, the same Nirbhaya incidents are happening, and you see some mob lynching is happening. There is a social cohesion, and Yogi Adityanath of Uttar Pradesh is talking about something, a separate dress code for the madrasis, and there are other things being propagated, like Praveen Togadia, giving the head speeches, actually. India is a country for everyone, actually. It doesn't belong to any particular community. It doesn't belong to any particular religion. India is a very diverse country. Everybody has a right to stay. Everybody has a right to speak. Don't silence our voice, and don't think that we can be actually intimidated and silenced because you are so much powerful, actually. In fact, the freedom of speech and expression in India is danger. I don't know when I go next out of the room, what will happen with me, because I'm speaking about so many things. Many of the media houses are being purchased, actually. Barring 2 to 3, there have been income tax raids, there have been the ED raids, everything is happening. But that is not the point. The main point is that you must have a clear vision of what you want to do. I fully admit that Narendra Modi is a visionary prime minister. And since the independence 1947, after Dr. Mohan Singh, he has been one of the top prime minister which the country has produced. But unfortunately, the Mandir politics, the Hindutva politics, the ability to not go along with the various communities and various spectrums of the society together is actually giving a stumbling block. And to my knowledge, this is the biggest setback for the government. And I can tell you there is a strong apprehension. Although the government tells that there are no riots, there are no disturbances happening in the country, I am very doubtful that in the next 1 year, what is going to happen actually. So these are the points which actually we are going to debate, and these are the things which we must understand, that the country, in order to prosper, we should have a very strong social cohesion, a cultural ethos, because we are a country of Hindus, but we should not call them that the Hindus should only the rule. There are other people also who has an equal space in the industry, and they must also be allowed to give their voice and not politicize it. This is the most important mantra of a governance. Governance doesn't mean that you bring out so many MOUs and make economic reforms, but actually doesn't go to the real beneficiaries who are actually the real stakeholders of the society. These are the people who live in villages actually. They have mobile phones, but they don't have any toilets. There is a Swachh Bharat Abhijan, which is a game-changing idea. It's a very good idea actually. But when you have toilets, there are no mechanisms where the waters will go out. It's being splashed out. There are no processes in order. So there are various other things which the government need to think. I also understand that you can't change it overnight. It is a country of around 1.3 billion people of populations. So there are strong reasons that we must believe it will take time. But this is not the end of the road. We must look at the road where it should pay for governance, where it should give security to the woman. That is the most important factor actually. Many women whom I've interviewed, they're telling that we are not safe in the country. But the government spokesperson come and tell that it's not happened actually. It has not happened. I think it has happened in a big way actually. And this is the big setback for the government. So they have to take everybody in confidence. They must also admit that something has gone wrong. They must admit, yes, this is a mistake on our part. They don't admit only. That is the biggest point actually. So with this note, with the concept of transformation, with the concept of introspection, we are going to scan out what has happened since the last 71 years and how India will look at in the near future. Look at in the world what has happened. Middle East countries. Look at in Syria what is happening. It's burning actually. Go to Afghanistan. It's in a very difficult position. There is a trade war happening between United States of America and China, which is affecting all of us actually. The industry is not growing actually. People are telling that aging of business has become much more simplified. Where it has become simplified actually. Many of the businessmen do tell me, and who will be present, who will be joining with us later on, they tell Satya it's not happening actually. There are so many processes, there is a bureaucracy happening, because down the level everything is the same. But I want to end it on a very positive note. Let us expect that the Prime Minister gets a message loud and clear, that if he wants to take the country ahead, he must listen to the people, and he should not look at only glorifying his own image and glorifying what he has done, and should not go to the abroad and overseas countries and speak about the opposition parties which doesn't behold of a prime minister. With this note, I conclude my presentation. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I request Rasna to please take over. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Satya. That was a really enlightening speech.